Good afternoon and good evening to everyone out there. Welcome to Prima Sports Desk. I'm your host, Kane the Schwab Watson, and alongside me, it's just me for now. My co-host is a bit late, traffic, everybody in tune watching the race. I'm sure you're just watching the World Championship live from Budapest, which we'll break down in whole later on in the show. I want to big up all the listeners out there on the Primal 4K app, Facebook, Fit FM 96.7 to the listeners all over the world. I mean, I'm a bit stunned by the race. I just watched with the 4x1 woman, which I'm a bit stunned by the lineup. But I'm waiting on my co-host to arrive to break that down. And later on in the show, we'll have Connie Francis. I mean, once you hear the name Connie Francis, you know it's netball. And Connie Francis is big in netball and one of the most capped players for netball. And she'll break down her whole history in netball from a player to a coach and to what she's doing now. So in a few minutes, we'll have Connie Francis live here on Primal Sports Desk. And after that, it's a controversial boss at the midway point. And I don't know what he's up to, but I'm sure he has a lot to say about Budapest. And I mean, what's brewing in tennis Jamaica there. Because, it's all about admin and associations all over, not just in track and field. Because we see some dilemma there with the lineup in the 4x1, not only male, but female. So, I mean, when you break it down, it's not just what goes on the field of play, but what goes on in the boardroom that makes the sport. And all in all, hey, we the fans have a lot to say as well. And me as an analyst break it down because we just don't talk the sport. So like to dissect and break it down to where we see fit to a level of, intellectual heights. So far breaking down Budapest, I mean, we see a lot of outstanding performances, and both on the male and female side. In previous weeks, some of my co-hosts were saying that, hey, the women take over, them run things, but we see where the men stood up on their feet in Budapest and some outstanding performances there, alongside with the women. And I mean, some of note, not all medalists should big up because we know all the medalists. We know the Sherika Jacksons, the Antonio Watson, but we'd like to even big up New Yorker Clunis, who made history for Jamaica to compete in a hammer throw. Want to start off on that note. First male or female to compete in a world championships in the hammer throw event. And I think that is something of special note. So remember that name, Nayoka Clunis, groundbreaking. I mean, didn't go too far, but yet still competed, and that's where it all starts from. And I'm sure in a couple world championships later on from now, maybe in the next 20 years, we'll have medalists in the hammer throw. So we have to start somewhere. But overall, so far, my performance at the championships, I'm cut in between Daniel Williams and Antonio Watson. Might I say Daniel Williams is two-time world champion now after winning the title in 2015 and now backing that up in 2023. So she's two-time world champion in the 100-meter hurls females. And to me, she wasn't pegged to even get a medal, and to go there and to defeat that lineup, I mean, is astounding. The likes of world champions, Olympic champions, world record holders. That field is probably the best lineup ever to assemble in a 100-meter hurls female. And for her to start and finish that race, I mean, 12.43, not a spectacular time, our season best, but what we notice in these championships and previous championships, times don't necessarily matter, or distances. You want to pass the post first or jump the furthest or jump the highest. You want that gold medal. And to go out there and compete and to out-compete, out-best everybody else in the field, that's what counts. But to do it in, whether it's record fashion or personal best fashion, is just, I mean, icing on the cake, but yet still, you just want to win. But for me, I probably give Antonio Watson the edge because it's the first 400-meter gold medalist male in 40 years. Bertland Cameron, 1983. And for Antonio Watson to go out there and win 44.22 seconds, I mean, just shows his testament from where he's coming from, boys championships. Because remember, the whole dilemma with him at boys champs with signaling at the line and the whole gun salute to the crowd. And, some people are saying, let the youth grow. Some people are saying, oh, no, Bonnie man coming with all sort of rubbish. But we've seen where he's grown into a not only a fine young man, but also even a spectacular athlete, and to be world champion in the 400-meter class. To me, this is an event that we should be doing better over the years, from the likes of Herb McKinley coming up, Arthur Wint, George Roden, and those spectacular 4x4 teams back in the 50s coming up, to see where now we had a hiatus after Bertland Cameron. We have Gregory Harton getting bronze medal along the way. We'll have some performances here and there, but to get this gold medal in the 400-meter men is somewhat spectacular. Nothing short of spectacular. And 44.2 seconds, I mean, he ran a season best in the semifinals convincingly. And after that race, I thought, Anthony Watson can win the gold. And we saw where Steve Gardner of Bahamas pull up in his race. So I was saying, with Steve Gardner out, Anthony Watson, I mean, somewhat the favorite. Van Lee Kirk, Kirana James, I mean, not up their utmost best, more in the twilight of their career, but yet still pedigree athletes. And to go out there and the way he finished that race, strong, strength to strength, I mean, coming on in the last 50 meters. And I tell him, I mean, every week I say it, don't bet against a Watson. I mean, controversial boss know that. I mean, other co-hosts know that. And I'm a bit biased to Anthony Watson, seeing that we share the same last name. So I'm going to big up Anthony Watson out of Trelawney, big up him hometown, because we know we're hearing in Fit FM 96.7 out of Trelawney. So we want to big up him hometown in Trelawney there. And I mean, Anthony Watson out of Petersfield. I mean, remarkable, nothing short on words. And I mean, I'm sorry, my next co-host is here because it was tagged that, you know, the champs athletes sort of burn out and they don't make it to the World Championships or the Olympic Games and all the stars. But we see where on both the male and female side, the champs athletes coming to the fray. The stars are shining. So with the likes of, as I said, Antonio Watson, Sherika Jackson, I mean, Akira Nugent making 100-meter finals. I mean, on the male side, Dakers, Michael making the finals. Oblique Seville, Rashawn Clark. I mean, Wayne Pinnock, Kerry McLeod, Jaden Hibbert, just to name a few. I mean, and the likes go, I could name even more, but all of these athletes are champs stars, and the champ stars are stepping up to the plate and not burning out. So, I mean, I want to touch on the 4x1, but I'll leave that later on in the show. I have to come down the slate where we first got our medals. So right now, I think we're slated at, before the relays, we had 3 gold, 3 silver, 3 bronze, and we just got our bronze in the men's 4x1, and we got a silver in the women's 4x1. I'm not so happy with the female silver. I wanted gold. With the men's bronze, I'll take it. But you see, we're in both races, baton changes were a bit shaky and dodgy. But as I said, we'll break that down race later on in the show when my co-host joins me after the controversial boss does his sports commentary. But Shakar Richardson, I want to touch on the 100-meter male and female before I dive into anything else. So for the 100-meter male, first, we won't touch on the Shakar, 100-meter male. Noah Lyles, 9.83. Not a remarkable time what we're used to, the 9.7s, the 9.6s, 9.5, but yet still, Noah Lyles is a star. Now having 3 gold medals, 9.83 100-meter, 19.51 for the 200 meters, and just getting the goal with the 4x1, 37.38 anchor in the US men's team. So Noah Lyles is the bolt here apparent. Him talk a lot. Some people might not like him, but I think he's good for the sport. Good for the sport with the whole bravado and his whole showmanship. And I think, hate it or love it, he's a champ and he's providing the details.
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. Oh, I think we have Connie Francis online. You can hear us?
I can hardly hear you guys. I don't know what went wrong. A call came in, so I'll just...
Can you hear me any better right now?
Back on. I really can't hear.
You can't hear me? I'm trying to speak louder. I'm trying to get audio there with Connie Francis. She'll join us in a few. Yeah, she'll break down her whole netball career because, you know, the girls just came from South Africa where they got the bronze medal. I mean, again, we wanted to go, but, I mean, nothing short of top performers. But, again, everybody's competing to win. So, whether they finish first, 8, making the semifinals, but once they go out there, and do their best. We see where you're with us, Connie. You can hear me better.
Yes, I can hear you now, loud and clear.
All right. I want you to welcome Connie Francis to Primal Sports X. How are you doing today, Connie Francis?
I am doing good enough. Just coming from work.
Oh, I mean, yeah. Thanks for taking the time out because I know you're busy with the work schedule and everything going on. But, you know, I am a bit, how to say, awaiting to interview you because I know the name Connie Francis. I'm a bit on the younger side. But once I hear the name Connie Francis, I know it's associated with netball. But I want you to break down where it all started for you on your netball journey. So you can start by telling us, when did you first pick up a netball and say, hey, you know, I'm kind of good at this?
Well, I'm originally from Waterhouse, right? I have 9 of us who is shelter. And I can tell you, I went to Balcom Drive All-Age School where we have had the great Lester Stanford, who is the founder of the Walgrovian Sports Club. So he was the coach at the time at Balcom Drive All-Age School, and his daughter went there. And I remember just looking through the fence, you know, at these, my peers playing the game. And I said, I just love the game and I wanted to be a part of it. So I went to him and he said, the only way I can play is if he meets my mom. So, you know, I took him home. He met my mom. And from there was a bond that the training is at such and such time. I shall be at home at such and such time. And from there, I was introduced into the Great Walgrovian Sports Club, where we have some fantastic players, you know, who I actually emulate, you know, the great Dorothy Lottery, Elaine Mothersill, you know, some really fantastic players. And from there, I was molded into this player. But, you know, at a very young age, around 10, 11, you know, I fell in love with the sports and I kept with it, you know, and, you know, the rest is history.
Yeah. But even so, we have to dive into that history because, I mean, we can't just leave it there because, as I said, Lester Stanford guided your path in your early days. But tell us, after you developed and from your even first cap, as I'm sure going out there representing Jamaica for your first time until we know you as a seasoned vet leading to coach. So tell us about that now, going into that fold of becoming a national representative and what it means for you.
Well, being in Walgrovian Sports Club, you know, is a very proud club in the sense of we had some really great players who play for our national team, and they are on the star-studded A team. So I was on the F team at Walgrove, and I always just emulate and watch. And, you know, even when Leicester had moved on, we had Patrick Brissett, who took over Walgrovian Sports Club. And I always wanted to be as good as Dorothy Lottery Wilson. She was one of them who I love her game. I love, you know, a lot of people say she bossy, but I know of her hard work, so I wouldn't call her. And there I went into our national program. I actually, my first time with the national, trying out on our national team, I was a defender. And I picked up a massive injury, a knee injury, and I said, I'm not going back. So I took up basketball. And before I went off the basketball scholarship, I actually played. I was introduced also to playing in the Business House League, you know, with Seprod, and I was on the Business House team even before I was back on in the national program. So our Business House coach, Merle, she looked at me and she said, Connie, you need to go back into the national team, you know. But I said, they're so good, and, you know, I am a wimp, and they will do this, and they injure me, and, you know, a lot of things, not just cloud your memories for you to not to be a part of. And she encouraged me, and I went back with the encouragement of the Walgrovian Sports Club. And from there, I actually changed my position. And in 1986, in 1986, I was drafted in the team for the very first time. I was so excited. I was a rookie coming off the bench, just eager to get a chance to play with the big girls, you know. Janet Johnson was our captain. The only thing she do is eat, sleep, and drink netball, and that's the person I actually went and emulate. I listen to everything that she said, and it gravitates me to inspire to be better than who I am. So I remember my first look, 1987 in Scotland. Our team needed a shooter, goal attack at the time. We were down by 10. So, it was to Trinidad.
Yeah.
And our captain Janet looked to the bench and she said, "I need a goal attack." And I remember I'm the first one to jump up, although there was another goal attack there, a veteran goal attack. I said, "Me." And my coach said, "No, not you." And then Valerie Blake, who was on the team and played goalkeeper, shouted out and said, "We want Connie Francis, put her out there." That was the biggest inspiration for me. I went on and I played, and I've never, ever looked back. I got the starting position and I have worked my butt off. It's never easy because, you have to balance not getting pregnant, being on time at home, make sure the grades is as such. And, I had a good family in the Walgrove, and sports actually molded me, because I remember even going to Walgrove College is a school that is a club that actually paid my school fee and to ensure that I, don't fall by the wayside. And so, I have lots of love for that club, because it's really a family club. And, I remember moving on now from being a player into the coaching system. I've always, as I said, emulate Janet Johnson and the way she reads the game. And I remember one tournament, she was coach player. And we usually go to tournaments where we have to be training a lot. I remember when we went into this tournament into Barbados, not much training. What she does differently, she took us to the game to have a look at the teams who we will be playing against. And then she questioned us, and she said, what does this person likes to do? And what is their weakness and their strength? And, I said, wow, that is so fantastic. And from there, tactically, I have a little, insight how to break game and how to come up with plays and, to push the team forward. So, and as I said, Molly Rowan saw also the good in me as a, captain player, coach. And she said, because when I was a captain, how national team going on. When you're on the field of play, you will see it. You'll see things happening, and you're able to come up with, tactics to counteract our opposition. And from there, she said, "Connie, I want you to go into coaching." So she had a conversation with Australia Institute of Sports where Oberon and I went in, but Oberon went in before me because I had my child and I came back and I went to Australia, did my 1, 2, and 3 levels, and here I am, a coach. A coach. I can tell it's tough though.
I mean, trust me, I do a bit of coaching now, and I find playing easier than coaching, because when you're coaching, it's like you see the mistakes more. You're trying to impart that knowledge on the players out there and say, yo, you feel like you want to jump out there and you just feel more stressed. When you're playing, the adrenaline is kicking and you're out there. But to me, coaching harder than playing.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And especially to get the players to understand the reason why we are doing things differently. It's not the norm. Let's just do something different. And I can tell you, my first thing with our national team, 8 months before World Cup, I remember 2007, I got the team and I was coaching players who I played with.
Yeah.
So to get that respect also, they know that I have some knowledge. Did they buy into it? It took a little while, but they did. And eventually we almost crossed over, going up against New Zealand. The last 5 minutes, we lost the game. And I mean, that was something else, but I can tell it's very tough. I used to have a lot of motion. I mean, I used to move up and down. I'm catching, I'm passing, I'm doing all sorts of things when I'm playing. But, I've learned to be much more calm on the bench and, try to impart the knowledge differently.
And you said you switched from defense to goal attack. After that, did you ever go back to playing defense, or just always goal attack after that?
No, I've never, ever. But funny, I love coaching the defensive team against an attacking team. I don't know why. I always drive to, to break attackers. But, I have never ever, and I love being a goal attack. I don't know why they always feature the goal attacks them so much and the shooters more than defenders. But, I enjoy the role that I had played.
Yeah. And even so, you said one thing. I've also been on tours around netballs at Commonwealth Games, and one thing I like with netballs, you always stick together. There's a unity and camaraderie in the netball team. Plus, what I like with the netball setup is where you have past players like yourself, and you're connected with, you said, Dorothy Latry and the Janet Johnsons, and even now as coach and you pass it on. That's what I like with netball. There's a common link in the whole history of netball where the past players pass on knowledge to the new players, and there's a link there always, because even when I go to netball matches out here, there are players there from way back in the day to as it likes of yourself who coach or just coming out of playing to the new players. So I like that common link y'all having a netball setup where there's some form of unity, or that's what expresses to the public, I should say.
Yeah, and you're absolutely right, because being in it's more structured to me. I went in a setting that was, we moved together, we do everything together from I was a youngster until now. And what I've noticed differently now with this core of players is that not only at the training session they are very close, even when nothing is happening. The ones that were in Australia are very close to the ones who are here. And so that's what I love, but I can tell you that discipline, we have to learn how to use knife and fork. We have to learn how to dress properly. We're an example. So from an early age, these things were taught to us, I can tell you from the great Mother Roan, she was my mentor and or a teacher in that capacity when she was the president of Netball Jamaica. But it's really the same thing that is being passed down. Everything we do together. Because I remember, I went to it was Malaysia. I think it was a tournament, and I was shocked to see athletes going to eat at various times. They're able to lime outside late. No. By we don't
we move together, man.
We move together.
We move. Even so, not only at the games, because even if I go on the road like to a function or I see a netball player, I usually look around. I'm sure there's 2, 3 more somewhere nearby. If I see one, even in a party or on the road, y'all move together, and I like that, and it shows on the court. Win together and lose together, and it's always not a blame game where that person is a team, and move together, as I said, and the results show. Because the results are show always medaling and always representing well, not on and off the court, in interviews, on the street, on the court of play, and that's what I like about Netball Jamaica. And as I said, it passed on from generation to generation.
Yeah, because happened to young Latanya Wilson, their house, being firebomb and things like that. In no time, I look on the TV and I see 2 of our players is there comforting her. We are like that. We're a close-knit family, but guess what? We are not perfect.
No.
But if in any indifference, anything that is happening, it stays inside of netball. We never carry it outside. Everything is handled inside, and that's what I love about our sport.
Yeah, that is true. That is true. And so, tell us one of your most memorable moments as a player. I mean, you have a extended career, but what moment or key moments, pops up in your mind as one of the most memorable moments as a player first, then as a coach?
Well, I can tell you, as a player, a very young player, this stand out. Where I was in Australia, I think this was our last test against Australia. We were beaten badly. Our captain was Janet Johnson. And I can tell you, I was playing against this big defender. She's big in stature. She's very tall, muscular. I remember she hit me so hard. I fell to the ground. And you hear them say, you see stars when you drop?
Yeah.
Oh, stars. And I remember my captain, I thought she would have, come over and console me. Hell no. She just said, welcome to the big world.
Yeah.
And I can tell you that before the game was finished, her name is Sally Ironmonger from Australia.
Yeah.
Before the game finished, she, by Connie Francis, this little but she tell our girl, out of water house. I mean, I saw her coming out. I didn't know what to do, but just to fold up myself in the air and expand. And I saw when the impact was made, I stood my ground, land safely, and she was flying all over the place. She couldn't breathe, and my captain looked at me and said, "Well done."
Yeah.
In the big world. So for me, as a youngster, I can tell you that they maul us in that tournament. But I've learned how to be resilient and how to be tough, to fight through, anything that comes up, on court and even off the court. And as a coach now, I remember this stood out as a young coach. I said we lost to New Zealand the night before. And I remember our players, they started to cry. And I've been in the same situation as a player where we had beaten England in our pool. Good. And because we lose to New Zealand the next day, close, we cry all night. And the match was early. They know say England mauled in 1999 World Cup.
Yeah.
I tell you, they mauled us. And I mean, that stood out. Same time when we lost in New Zealand, I went to the room and everybody was crying. I just said, hey, what we are ball for? Don't have tomorrow we game. We are go for the bronze.
Yeah.
What I recognize with the team is that we weren't as physically fit. And because we weren't as physically fit, it affects our mental because we lead up until the 9th hour. We lost the game.
Yeah.
And I realized that. But as a young coach, I learned after that. We were leading England the next day in the last quarter, going in the last quarter by 10.
Yeah.
And so we only win by 1.
I know. Hold on for dear life. But a win is a win.
Yeah, but you say if I was smarter, I would have just pulled my one and two player, even for a minute.
Yeah.
As a young coach, I've learned and just said what we need to do and just look at the game. We need to have some more control. I mean, I tell you, Althea Byfield made that interception that caused us in the game.
Althea Byfield is my good friend. We're classmates together at UTech. Yeah.
And we won and we got a bronze. And the next is the straight. That was until 1999 for me when I came back. Yeah.
So you're retiring from coaching now?
When I got the job, I remember I said my former captain, Janet Johnson, she was on the board and she came to me and she said that because, I've done interview already for the job and I wasn't good enough. They said they brought in a foreign lady and I wasn't good enough. They brought in different coaches and, I was still not good enough. So I said, I'm not interviewing for another job with Netball Jamaica, And she said, Connie, do the interview. I think that you're the person to do the job. Right? She said, you are the person to do the job. So I took it on and I said, one cycle. Just one cycle. After World Cup, that's it for me. Okay. And fate have it that, when our team lost at the World Cup, we came 5th. I got the team like 6 weeks after into a tour and we beat South Africa and England who had beaten us. Only New Zealand was the only team who had beaten us. So I've had ups and downs, with the team, but they were more positive. But, as I said, it would have only been one cycle. And after the cycle, that's it for me here in Jamaica. I really want to go into full-time coaching because I think I have something to teach full-time, not on a part-time. I have to hold on a job at separate. My daughter is in college. So it's and it's just, it not worth it. the coach here. For me, as a local coach,
Mm-hmm.
getting the job done. And it's really not just me alone. There's a team behind the team because, we had other person who come in, but I was the only one there for over 3 years with the team. And on time we get, Rob Wright came in. He's very good at what he does. And then I've asked them to give me another coach because going into the World Cup, my last tournament, I am not going without an assistant.
True.
I was given an assistant, and so God has been good. I've had some fantastic players who actually know the game, play their wear in Australia, come back and impart their knowledge with the locals, and we're able to build this fantastic squad of girls who gave us a bronze and a silver. So it's really time to move on for me before I actually move on.
Well, I know you're probably, as you say, you'll be around netball, see me. So before you go, tell us what's next then. What's next for Connie Francis?
Well, I'm still with my job at Separate, and I'm actually looking to go somewhere else. I don't know where as yet. I'm looking at different offers to go somewhere else and do some coaching full time.
And I'm sure coaching, you never stop improving, and so never say never. You might be in the national setup maybe in the next couple of years from now. That might not be on the cards now, but never say never.
A setup.
Not repeat?
No, not in our national setup. I've finished. I've finished. They are
fine. I mean, you did an astounding job. Not only as a coach in your playing career, as you said, you captain the team from the legs coming up.
You have other coaches. You have Annette Daly, you have Oberon Peterson. I know that Maureen is there to guide them. You have young Nicole Aiken-Pinnock, and then you have Sean Murdoch. Then we have the overseas coaches, and then, so we have, at least before the COM game, we have 3 years, to get the girls. And especially this group of girls are very young. So I expect most of them should be there representing Jamaica. So so the road wouldn't have been as hard, as to get all new players in. It should be much easier for the other coaches. And as I said, Annette Daly she and I worked the very first time together as young coaches. So she has been in and out of our program. Then you have Minette, who has done a fantastic job with our team here too. So I have Marvin Anderson. So it's about molding our coaches, sending them overseas to get some knowledge, like what happened for Oberon and I, because knowledge is power, and I can tell you, every day I learn. Every day I'm on the internet, I'm looking different.
Never stop learning.
I don't boring training, and all my session must lead into match winning session, and that's me. Yeah.
All right. I want to thank you, Connie Francis, for taking the time out. Your busy schedule and coming on. To hear your story where you started from, Walgrovian.
Walgrovian, out of Waterhouse.
Waterhouse. And I think Shelley, that's the same area Shelley comes from right there. Welcome, John.
Yes,
so I mean, from champion to champion. So yeah. So I mean, again, I want to thank you for taking the time out, coming and sharing your story with us, and all the best in your future endeavors. And I'm sure you'll get better at the coaching, because as I say, you never stop learning. And from the Primal Sports Desk, all the best, and we'll keep in tune on what's your progress on endeavors.
Thank you, and thanks to your listening public for hearing my voice. Okay?
Thank you, Connie.
Thank you, Connie.
Cool.
All right, that was the great Connie Francis, former captain of the netball team, former coach. I mean, one of the most capped players, not only for Jamaica, but all time.
So
she's a sound stalwart. Yeah, some in the leagues in Australia, New Zealand, but I'm sure she'll land a secure job, and our track record speaks for herself.
I think Jamaica will want her back in the program.
But she says not in the national setup.
Well,
so let's hope. But wish her all the best, and we'll see her on TV again.
Yes.
And we know the face Connie Francis on the voice. So all the best to Connie Francis. And right now it's time for sports commentary with the controversial boss himself. Take it away.
Greetings. Ken, where's Dale? I don't know what's going on.
Somewhere over the Pacific or Atlantic.
Are there some negotiations going on now that I need
maybe
to know about?
Probably pick up a coaching job down in New Zealand or Australia.
Dale Parham was coaching the team in some juniors, 11-year-olds and 13-year-olds in Dominican Republic, and I think there's a hurricane there or a storm.
I think tropical storm.
But I think he'll be back in Jamaica tonight. When hopefully we can have him on Primal next week.
Next week, hopefully,
if we can negotiate.
Seems like I took over the show full time.
Yes. Anyway, I don't know if you've been watching not the table tennis so much, but the lawn tennis. Last week there was a match that was very important. Match between Djokovic and Alcaraz. No, they had not played since Wimbledon. And I think Mr. Djokovic was at a disadvantage in the match at Wimbledon because the grass was wet and he was sliding all over the place. I saw him drop at least a dozen times in those 5 sets. So it was interesting to watch what would happen if the two men played without that big problem. And the match started out with Alcaraz dominating. You know, in fact, Djokovic looked so out of it that I went and had a drink and had lunch and all these kind of things. Come back to see the fight was going on many hours. Long game. Yeah. And Djokovic prevailed. And what that sets us up for is a very exciting US Open, which is just now underway. So next week, Sunday, we'll see if the two guys who are now at the top of tennis, because there's a struggle now between young Alcaraz and old experienced Djokovic. And I dare say, if you're a fan of tennis, this is something worth watching. I'm going to stick to tennis for a second. In Jamaica, there's a big tennis controversy. I don't know if you've been following it, but our best player, Blaise Bicknell, says that he might not play the Davis Cup because he's unhappy with the selection, the automatic selection of a player with the name Azar, young Azar. Now, why that's controversial is that the president also has the same name. President of lawn tennis is Azar. And is it a coincidence? I don't think so. I investigated it and I found out that he's the son of the president and may well be. And by the way, I'm going to tell you why I have to be so careful with my words here. Eh?
Yeah.
But anyway, so there's a dispute. But as it turns out, the question of whether there's a conflict of interest with the president and his son being on the team, there's also another conflict of interest because even though Mr. Bicknell is saying what he's saying, as it turns out, he's an advocate for his brother being automatically selected to the team as well. So it's family and family, Bicknell's versus Azar's, and there are some gores involved. And so I think it's best, the less we say, the better. This was reported in Jamaica Observer, and they called up Mr. Azar's name. And by the next day, I opened my newspaper. Retraction. Observer had to take back every word of the story because they were intimidated. It sounded like a lawyer called them. If you look on the retraction, it was such a long retraction. I haven't never seen the papers take back them words. So we do not agree that what we said was right. We think that what we said was wrong. We are sorry we said it. We are sorry we even have a newspaper because we're going to report on the man. So that was a big retraction. And all this cascas in lawn tennis. I thought that is only table tennis. They have all this cascas. Lawn tennis cascas is a bigger cascas,
I don't think it's bigger. We're talking
Supreme Court. They remember Mr. Dibbs, who was in an argument with the Lawn Tennis Association over the non-selection of his daughter, teamed up with Mr. Azar over the non-selection of his son. And they took the then administration to court and won and ended up becoming the association. And so it's still all in the family. Eh? Nepotism. We know Joseph very well.
Very well.
Joseph never saw a courthouse he never liked. And so this one is heading back there. Now, on one of my favorite sports, UFC, I must apologize to all the people who lost money by betting alongside me. I get it wrong very rarely, but I got it wrong. Yeah. Aljamain Sterling, who is Jamaican, was going up against Sean O'Malley. And Aljamain did something quite uncharacteristic. He was leading with his chin, trying to grab the guy, shooting, we call it in the sport. You guys don't do jiu-jitsu, but I do. So he was trying to shoot. And he left his head out there so often that I was wondering, why is Aljamain leading so often? Most of us in this sport, we are counter punchers. It's the guy who lead who gets in trouble. Aljamain keep trying to lead and got clocked by Sean O'Malley, knocked out. The stoppage was a bit too quick for me because he was on the ground rolling, trying to defend himself, and the referee called a stop to it too soon. But it was very reminiscent of you. I don't know if you remember when Aldo fought against Conor McGregor, and Aldo from Brazil was trying to rush McGregor because McGregor got into his head and he got knocked out. So there's a lot of controversies in this relays. I just watched the end of the relays, and we're going to talk about that later. But I mean, the Jamaica team, there's a controversy with Mr. Taekwondo complaining about his non-inclusion in the men's 100 team. And I think it intimidated the team, the managers, because they went with a very safe selection. 1, 2, 3, 4 in the trials. 1, 2, 3, 4 in the trials. So you're telling me that the coach who saw Elaine run her leg 2 days ago, or was it yesterday, who saw Elaine run, didn't see something in Elaine that meant Elaine should have been in the squad? That Elaine X factor might have been that 0.2 of a second that we needed to run with the Americans. As the race was set out and run, it was a very unimaginative selection, if you want to know the truth. I don't think Taekwondo would have upset the results at all. He was lucky to make the 5. But I'm saying that because Taekwondo was making up noise about selection and the management of the team, I think the management got very cowardly and intimidated. I was very disappointed with the women's team selection. The team that won last year would have won this year. I think that, I don't remember this girl who used to train at Atterbourne. What's her name?
Brianna Williams.
I think that Brianna started, and I don't want to name over the team, but we all know the team that should have run, and I don't think that was a team that ran. Now, I was going to mention something about running, and I think I will. Jamaicans keep giving away races because we refuse to run through the tape. I think that the 100 meter should have been a lesson for Sherika. It's one time too many. It's a lesson for, certainly for Mr. Sevilla as well. They need to remember that the 100 meter race is 100 meters long. We keep running to 95 and 96 and then doing this kind of thing, easing down. Looking around instead of just running through the tape like you're mad. Shelley don't have this problem, but I'm saying generally, most of our runners don't focus on the task of hand, which is to, in 100 meter, looking around doesn't help you in a final. Run to the tape. Yeah. There's nothing you can do about the result by looking around. In the heats, you can, if you're leading, yes, let's do it. Do it for the drama, do it for the talk. I did some studies on how much energy you save by easing up. Not a lot. It's not a lot of energy saved, and yet we sometimes it costs us races. So Jamaicans, I beg you, quit with the haul and pull up before you finish your thing. You know, we do it in the music, we do it in the running. Speaking of music, are you going to Chris Brown show?
I'm thinking about it.
So it's $1 million for the Skybox. I'll look out for you when I'm in the Skybox.
Okay.
But let me tell you something. Did you guys see the video? There's a TikTok going around with Chris Brown's entourage.
Yep.
Chris Brown know how to do an entourage.
Yeah, I like
we
it.
Jamaicans not doing no entourage.
No.
When I see Sizzler, right? I see Sizzler run out on the stage with one bag of bubble dread. Is that true?
True.
And a man with a flag. When I see Bounty, he's a bagger man.
Yeah.
Cartel, bagger man.
All
right?
the artists them.
But guess what? Chris Brown's got the girls them. They were at least, I tried counting, I lost count after 20 something.
I don't have as much fingers and toes.
It was a lot of girls. My brother telling me he's dancers. What dancers? These are Chris Brown girls. Chris Brown is the man. No one, I know what you're doing with that $1.5 million we have to pay for a ticket, right? I know where that's going. There's a singer that I heard the other day called Denny. She did a song. Every little thing you do is just between you and me and you. It's our little secret. We're gonna keep it on the down low. Denique is her name. You can go look it up. But when she did the video, which I was checking out, on the video is a picture of another popular Jamaica artist, Popcorn.
Watermelon.
Popcorn is eating a watermelon. And he's right in the watermelon, eating the watermelon. And Denique is pointing to the shirt while she's singing the song. I don't know the meaning. I'm not as smart as most people. I didn't know Popcorn was eating so much watermelon, man. I'll get the melon in his nose. Right? But Popcorn was very offended by Denique putting that on the thing. I think it's a coincidence, Kane. I just think she happened to have on a Popcorn shirt. with popcorn, eating the melon. I don't think Danny, well, who knows? Anyway, that's sports commentary. What say you?
Oh, I tell you, never short on controversy. I tell you, I leave the watermelon out of this, but do you remember the phone lines are open? 1-876-552-7406. That's via WhatsApp only, and that's 1-876-552-7406. And I want to big up the listeners again on Fit FM 96.7. Have to big them up. I mean, down there, Duncan Strelani, hometown now. Antonio Watson, I mean, Primal 4K app, Facebook, YouTube. I mean, thanks again for tuning in to Primal Sports Center. I want to dive into the second segment of the show now where we dive straight back into athletics. I mean, we just watched the last part of the 4x1 relays, and surprisingly, my co-host is here. I mean, for the second segment of the show. I mean, he missed the first segment where break down some of the world championships, but he's here now with me to dive into all the mix up and blend up now in the world championships, the goods with the bads, the medals, the close shaves, the disappointments. But I want to start off with the last races we just watched, the 4x1s. I don't know if you're on your way here, I didn't know if you got a chance to watch them, but 4x1 men's team, we know I don't know if the listeners out there know the Cascas with Tycon, the Tracy, and putting out that Maurice Wilson, the J3, one of the J3 head officials who select the relay teams, ousted him out of the relay pool and put in a member that wasn't in the relay pool. That eventually didn't run. I don't know if it's because of what Tycon, the Tracy said to the public, but Maurice Wilson is now, or might seek legal action against Tycon Tracy. That later on will be unfolded of to what exactly is going on. But we see where the top 4 finishers in the 4x1 for men ran the heats and ran the finals. So those are the 4 members of the team. They got a bronze medal. I mean, to me, I think that was a fair result with USA winning the gold, Italy second. And I mean, apart from a few dodgy baton exchanges, we got the baton around and we got a bronze medal, and kudos to the men's team for getting the bronze medal. The team setup was Akeem Bake to Oblique Seville, to Ryan Ford, who again was a men's finalist in the 100 meter. I think he placed 7th in, what was the time? 10:08. And so it was Akeem Blake to Oblique Seville to Ryan Ford to Rowan Watson, the national champion, anchor leg, who held off a late challenge from, I don't remember which country, but he got the bronze medal. I think it was Britain, I'm not so sure. But Italy got the silver medal and we got the bronze medal. But on to the women's team, we see where in the heats, the team was Brianna Williams to Elaine Thompson to Sasha Lee Forbes to Shelley and the anchor. That team ran comfortably, won their heat, and in the finals we saw a changing team. Natasha Morrison came in for Brianna Williams, lead off leg, to Shelley on the back stretch, to Sasha Lee on the curve, to Sherika on ankle leg. And we came second in a time of 41:21 to the American team, who won in a championship record in 41:03. Hats off to the American team, and once you're on a championship record, you know it's one of the best times ever. So they ran a good leg. Not so, both teams had sketchy baton exchanges, but that was the time when America clipped us. We wanted to go, and I saw comments on a post. Everybody's saying that Elaine, who ran a blistering 9.90 leg on the back stretch, should have been in the team.
Of course.
What are your thoughts on that?
Let me just first apologize to my viewers and my co-hosts. You know, I let a bit of traffic out there, but again, apologies to the Primal team out there. But the show must go on.
Show must go on.
It's going on.
Yes.
And I'm here now. Why? It's rough.
What is rough? The traffic? What's rough? Which one is rough? Because I mean, it's been a rough championships. We saw mishaps, we saw some bounce backs, we saw some epic performances. Daniel Williams, Anthony Wilds. The whole championship has been rough, but yet still, you know, Jamaicans are out there and we're getting medals.
We're getting medals, and I did say we might get more than 11. I did point out, so we're going to get more than 11.
How much we at now? 11?
We're at 11.
We're at 11. And with the 4x4s, I think we have a big chance of winning the gold in the 4x4 women. as USA, the favorites are out as they were DQ'd in their heats. So we are now tagged the favorites, I think, with that lineup of whoever we choose, because we have a plethora of athletes, female athletes in the 4x4. On the male side, it's going to be tougher, but I think we can get a medal also on the male side. I don't know what color. Definitely I would want gold, but I see where I think we can get the silver in the men and the gold in the female.
But for the bronze in the men.
But back to your point, you're saying it's rough. What break that down for me?
4x1 team for the women. It's a rough selection. It was a rough selection. Who would you choose? Who you want to run versus what happened at the national trials? And I did point out that top 4 at national trials is generally who you use for the finals. And
that was a bad idea. That's what
but even so,
but the thing about it,
your politics in every sport.
Yeah,
and politics in table tennis, politics in lawn tennis, as we said earlier, politics in track and field.
I did say that I was surprised that Shelley running the heats, knowing that she has an injury.
And that injury act up in the final. So our injury active in the final.
So I was thinking, hey, everybody wants a medal, everybody wants to run. So let Morrison run. She just come off 100. She's more.
This is not about getting a medal. It's about feeling the best team for the country.
Yeah.
Even for themselves. They all wanted goals. So, I mean.
For me, I was saying keep Ilian in.
So I'm saying that if Natasha Morrison had run the heats, it would have been perfectly fine, and the setup for the finals would be different, and she would be probably out of the final.
She would be out of the finals, and you keep with the championship team. Brianna, Ilian, Sharika, Shelley.
That's what I was saying.
Keep the championship team. These girls know each other well. They know to carry the baton around, whichever order they want to put them in. My preference was to have Shelley and the Anchor Leg. You can't beat Shelley and the Anchor Leg. Her speed.
You were listening to the show earlier on because you were saying what we were saying.
he was on his way here. I'm listening.
Shelley and the Anchor Leg. And it's a toss-up between where you want to place Ilian and Sharika.
No, Sharika has to run the curve. As you saw where Gabby Thomas eat up that curve and handed the ball over Sasha Lee Forbes. Sasha Lee Forbes is a good curve runner, but Gabby Thomas is an elite curve runner after running 21.8 to get the silver medal in the flat 200. And I think to match that, you have to put Sharika on that leg. And we have to get the baton around first and hold off Shakari, because Shakari is the 100-meter champion in 10-6 form. And if Shakari gets the baton first, there's no passing her. And that's exactly what happened.
The only person can pass her right now is Shelley.
We don't need to pass her. We need to be in front of her. And with Shelley's injury and Shakari coming on would be different versus if Shelley had to run her down. So I would say to get the baton around first and foremost in the lead position. And I think that if Sharika was on the third leg, that definitely would have happened, because Sharika is the best curve runner
we have right now.
Probably ever.
Yeah.
On the female side. VCB is also a top curve runner. And two of them kind of have this knock me walk to, so I don't know if it's a knock me thing with the curve.
Selectors, the organization of the team, and the organizers, the team management, I think they have their own perception of what they want, and it's not necessarily what they think is best for the country. You know, Shelley has that injury. She pulled out of the 200 because...
But these are specialists we're talking about. These are people that apply their trade and in their job for years and years. So being track and field coaches, Maurice Wilson is a top coach from GC Foster, all his years, all his accolades, as a coach. So he must have some know-how, but I think they played it safe. And again, I think with the taekwondo incident, with the politics and all of that, and with the setup. But then again, I'm sure if Shelley felt that she's healthy enough to run a race or run injury-free, that's why she went out there and it acted up during the race. But yet still, she handed the baton over and we were in the race. But to me, we lost the race with the whole setup. And again, Natasha Morrison toss up with the start. Natasha Morrison isn't really known for her bullet start versus Brianna Williams, who is known for it. And the first leg is the shortest leg. So she doesn't necessarily have to run a flat out 100 meters, and to get a good start would lead off the thing. I would have Brianna to Ilian to Sharika to Shelley to anchor it.
Yeah, I disagree with that.
That's and I'm sure a lot of persons out there would agree with me. And I said, feel free to call in. I want to hear some of the callers call in and chime in and give their take on what the team is. Silver is not bad. Time 41 21 is not bad. But yet still that team, I think, could have eclipsed 41.
Yeah.
Could have run sub 41. Yeah, and with the form Sharika is in, and I said on that curve, handing the baton over to Shelly in first. We know Shelly already. Shelly go run her lights out, puffy face. Ain't nobody catching Shelly once she get the baton first. And I mean, the injury acted up, but yet still, Shelly on that ankle head with Shakara having to run on. Shelly a pedigree. So, I mean, we do remember the phone lines are open 1876 552 7406. And I hope my good friend Keith Garvey will call in. If not this week, I'm sure he'll call in next week because I know he's also a Shakari fan. And I want to hear his thoughts on Shakari and even the whole setup of the 4x1 relays.
Earlier mentioned the highlight or here, this moment
Of the championship so far. For Jamaica, because of other performances.
Jamaica, but I'm surprised by Daniel Williams.
I mean, she's a champion.
Yeah, and she's a fighter, you know.
But even so,
Why?
she's a former world champion, so she's not.
She was not in anybody's thoughts
No.
for a medal, really.
Yeah.
Why? I was still shocked.
I mean, I won't act like I was surprised, but yet still she has pedigree. I mean, after that world championship, she had, I think she fell at a meet. I don't remember, it was a world championship or Olympics, and then she suffered a lot of injuries and, was plaguing her most seasons. But even now, she's not even on top form, but she ran her season best in the finals, and to the whole Jamaica, it was sort of a bit of a surprise to the level of experience in that field, because as I said, you had other world champions, Olympic champions, world record holder, and to decimate that field from start to finish, leading and lean at that line shows that her world championship wasn't a fluke.
The race was very similar to Shakari's win.
Yeah.
In other, she's in an outside lane, with nobody's paying much attention to her. Nobody expected her to feature. Yes, nobody expected her to feature. And this girl just ran her own race. It's almost like I'm talking about Shakari, She ran her own race while everybody was looking around and just run to the thing. So it's a well-deserved run. And by the way, what's the name of our medalists, our bronze medalists in there? Silver medalists in there, the men.
Hansa Parchment.
I have to give credit to Hansa Parchment.
13-0 second.
Hansa Parchment had possibly one of the worst starts I've seen in a 110 meter.
And that's probably one of his best starts because he's a poor starter.
Well, it was such a poor start that when everybody was up, the man was just getting up. Yeah. And yet, if you notice how methodical he wasn't rushing it, because that's what caused it to drop in her, the rushing. He was just patient, and that means the man knew him race.
Yeah, man, a big
He was just
man.
patient and ran. That was one of the best performances to me.
But for me, may it sound like a shocker to everybody else, but I think my pick, not Antonio Watson, not Daniel Williams, but that men's long jump.
2, 3, 4.
That men's long jump.
Yeah. 2, 3, 4.
Another person's not going to talk about it, but we're
going to talk about it. We can talk about it now.
Yeah, Jesus. I think nobody was.
Okay. So we're dealing with Jamaica, or we're dealing with
Jamaica,
the world?
we are dealing, man.
Oh, give it to the world. Because if somebody is to say the performance of this world championship,
Shakari.
Is Shakari going to get it?
10.65.
It's not just that. It's the message. It's the message.
Yeah.
It's the message.
Bounce back.
It's the bounce back. I have it written down here. It's the redemption.
Yeah, man.
It's redemption.
Yeah, you have to give it to her.
And not only that,
but for Jamaica, though.
You see, in the Bible, when Jesus was on the cross, to their left and to their right, there was a thief, one, and a beggar on the other one. And similarly, when I saw Shakari, and to one side was Shelly, and one side, it's almost a crucifixion image, you know what I'm saying? And the redemption is saying, Shakari, you cannot come by any other way except through this trial.
Yeah. She bunks back and
I don't want to get all religious,
and sure
but you realize
sure not championship.
No, but not just that. We showed her. It's like the prodigal son, when the others welcomed her back into the fold. You saw that? It was a proud moment for me because Shelly and her were joking around and all this kind of thing. Because there's a lot of bitterness sometimes,
Yeah. But
there's
it's
a lot of bitterness
good
sometimes.
sportsmanship.
Or
sportswomanship.
No, but I'll tell you something, not many people know this, but when Kane and I were heated competitors, we never talked much, Never talked much. But it's afterwards when Kane started to become the top man. He started to realize that the top man club is a small club.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
It's a small club.
Yeah, it is.
The other day we
some
spoke
people,
about...
Some people feel a minute and them not in it today.
The other day we were talking about the Top Man Club. And it's a joke because Sharika and Shellyan are welcoming Sharika into the Top Man Club. And one day you and me will welcome
Others in the Top Man.
One of these guys into the real big man club. Yeah, that is true.
I think that long jump to me took for Jamaica.
Yeah.
It's a moment, the proudest moment for me because
That Thursday was a special Thursday, man.
since James Bedford, we weren't really looking.
Yeah.
we
No,
have-
but I
we
saw
have
it.
the
I
talent,
saw that
and
we could have won, and
could have been a 1, 2, 3.
No. But if we're gonna talk about that, then you must. I must ask you guys, where is the Usain Bolt of field events? There's this youth that they must be big enough, Ebert, and I tell you, Ebert's a prospect. Don't get me wrong, you know. But in Jamaica, we tend to take the thing off the pot before it cooks.
no, but even so, his qualifying mark would have won, you know.
I know that.
And that goes
I know
and
that.
the question is
I
now
know
being
that,
asked,
sir.
you know,
He's just
why
injured.
is the qualifying mark not being used?
It cannot be.
You
used.
must have a finals.
It cannot- it
The
cannot be
finals
used.
is the event, you know.
Yeah, it's a
For
final.
somebody to go out there, jump that time, jump that
Distance, that distance, yeah.
It's
And
still
then-
qualifying. It's qualifying.
qualify,
Then hold
and
on.
that's why
But
you use the
well, in
time.
that case, then if you do the qualifying in Jamaica, that should be your mark you carry forward.
No, but even so,
It's the qualifying is a qualifying.
but Oblique Seville ran a PB of 9.86.
Yes.
That would have gotten him the silver medal. He ran 9.88.
It don't work like that, though.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
It cannot work like that.
Yeah. Ask yourself for Powell. Ask yourself for Powell. If his feet don't feel heavier in the final.
Yeah.
When
So
you're in
the
the
finals
finals, you
is
know.
different.
Let me tell you something.
And the Greek, you'd step up to the plate.
I think for the jumps, they're saying it's kind of different for the.
No, it's not
No,
different.
no,
It's not
because-
different. Let me tell you something. Sports is about conditions,
Yeah.
right? And when you are going, you could be doing all kind of things. You can jump.
If I play Peter in the first one, he probably beat me. But in the
that's correct.
finals, I ain't losing. Because the finals are finals.
the way I have it is any round.
Where the finals is the finals. The
No,
finals
man,
is the
finals
same
different, you know.
Finals
It feels
different, man.
different. Ask
Different,
him.
man. Yeah,
It
man.
feel different.
Feel different, man.
Rough on him.
It
It's
doesn't work
it's
like
an
that.
injury.
Yeah.
Look, a lot of people get injured. It's just sad. I mean, if he had went out
Would he
there
have
and
won the
got-
goal?
he would have won the goal.
Yeah, man.
You don't think the finals is the finals?
No, he would have won the goal.
Everything.
No,
is
We
a
shall watch his
final.
career very
But
closely.
why I don't give the long jump the moment of the championship to the 2, 3, 4?
Yeah, we did well. 2, 3, 4.
We should have gotten the goal. Why we should have gotten the goal?
Ho.
Hold on.
To the last jump, you know.
No,
Yeah,
hold
hold
on.
on now. Wait.
Hey,
Be
let me
fair.
finish. Let me
Yeah,
finish.
Okay, go ahead.
Let me finish.
Go ahead.
Let me finish.
Go ahead.
Let me finish. What is the world leading jump of the year in long jump?
No clue.
8.54.
Right.
By who? Wayne Pinnock. When? In the qualifying. If you jump that in qualifying, you need to jump that in the final as well. And if you jump that in the final, you get the goal. Not to say he didn't jump well, because he had a great card in series and he went close to his PB, which is the 8.54.
May I ask
He
you a
jumped
question?
8.50. The winning jump was 8.52.
Yes.
And the Greek youth step up to the plate, last jump.
You're
and
missing
cool
something.
the-
You're missing
I'm just
something.
saying.
There, believe it or not, you know.
So
I
it-
don't know, but there's
Come
a
to
thing
our-
called
come to the
destiny.
man.
Yeah, but there's a thing called destiny. Did you know that there's somebody who's actually writing the script of what takes place? Me convinced of it.
No, I don't.
I am
I don't
convinced.
think so.
Let me tell you
I
something.
don't think so.
The triple jumping woman from Venezuela,
Roas.
world champion,
Roas.
did not have a jump. Everybody has gone. She's in last place until the last jump. Was there any doubt when she was going to make that jump that she was going to win the race? I knew she was going
No,
to
but
win.
she different.
No,
She
she's
has
not
pedigree.
different.
No,
The Greek man has the same kind of story.
But
Right?
no, man, the
It's
Roas
just
is
his
a
time.
different level.
A theme time.
No,
Sometimes
no, but I'm just saying, the best triple jump of
Yes.
the female championships was Rojas. The whole competition.
Yes.
The best jump of the championships was Wayne Pinnock.
Yes.
8.54, but he did not do that in the finals.
It's a different story. It's a
Precisely.
different story.
Just like Hibbert, the best triple jump of the whole
yes.
is 17.70 and 17.64
Yes.
won. But he was injured, so it's a different
I'm gonna
scenario.
remind you of
But I'm
something.
just saying.
I'm going to remind you of something. Usain Bolt first Olympics when he was a defending junior world champion and he was in the early
chain and
rounds.
mountain.
I saw that sad saga when he was running and the chain him out and him struggling and didn't do well at all. And you know how, like I said, destiny. There's a story that was being written, you know. And I said that boy going to come back and tear them, you know.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's how these things work.
Yeah.
You disagree?
No, I don't disagree, but
And
I'm
there
just
was
saying.
some great story. Shakari's story, which I call the redemption story. Shakari's story of her showing all that hubris and pridefulness and insulting to her. This story wouldn't be complete unless the story come full circle, where Sha'Carri become the
No,
greatest champion.
Sha'Carri's case is different, but we're talking about Jamaican performances.
I'm just trying to say.
No, but definitely
that,
I agree with you.
Sports
That Sha'Carri
teaches us lessons in life.
Yeah.
I'm not at the pulpit now.
I disagree with that statement. Sports is life.
Well, there you go.
Gee, sports is remarkable, man.
No, but this world champs full up of great stories.
Yeah,
you know?
man. Every world champion, this
one was almost lyrical.
Yeah, but
They say history don't repeat itself, but it rhymes. This was lyrical. It have a beat, a rhythm to it.
yeah.
You know? And so, somebody told about the 2-1, 2-1, 2-1, 2-1 with the US medals. You saw that coincidence?
Yeah.
Yeah, there are all kind of magical coincidences in sports.
I think it's a great championship so far, despite
One of the best world champs I've watched in a long
for
while.
Jamaica.
Yeah.
but
I mean,
overall for the world,
to me, we could have had more gold medals, though.
Yes,
I really
yes,
think
definitely.
that triple jump male, long jump male,
Yes.
Rashid Broadbell, if he had
Broadbell drop in.
that's 3
And,
goals.
and the youth, Hibbert.
Hibbert, so
Yeah,
triple jump Hibbert.
there's a number of things we could have had.
Wayne Pinnock, Rashid Broadbell, to me.
But does everything ever always go to plan?
There,
though?
and then you have the Daniel Williams that
everything
came
go
up.
to plan, King?
No, nothing.
Don't work
It
like
just
that.
don't work like that, cause
Yeah.
you're our first caller. Hello, good afternoon. Welcome to Primal Sports.
Primal Sports, this is your producer.
Yeah,
Calling in.
yeah,
I want to congratulate Antonio Watson, a man from Trelawney.
Yeah.
I know that all the Fit FM listeners are out there expecting Primal to beat the come up. You know, Trelawney, Omar Farms,
Antonio.
Singing Bulls,
Yeah,
Veronica Campbell, all the Warren Weir, all those people.
So we're picking that Trelawney team.
Yeah.
Me, Antonio was the highlight of the Jamaican performance.
Definitely, I agree with you totally.
in this championship.
Especially with our history. I mean, we haven't got the gold medal since 1983. So to me, that is the performance of the championship so far.
The surprise. It's a surprise at the championships.
And shout out to the Fit FM people.
Yeah, man. Big up
Yeah,
the
man,
Fit
yeah,
FM
man, every
listeners
time.
out of Trelawney. I mean, Duncan's Trelawney, the Homer Antonio Watson. So as I said, big up the Duncan school. Big up
Trelawney is now the home of Antonio Watson.
Yeah, man. not now, but back then. I mean, as I said, the likes of Bolt, Veronica Campbell, Brown. I mean,
That's not a bad
Warren
record.
Weir.
Then
Yeah.
what do you think it is?
Yeah.
It is the Accra?
I don't, the yam them sit down there.
It must be the
It
yam,
must be the yam.
yeah,
But
yeah.
to me, that is a performance of the championships because in that event, I think that Jamaica has somewhat underperformed. And as I said, last time I won gold was Burton Cameron 1983. But with the likes of all the Americans, with Michael Johnsons and Van de Kirk's coming up, there's Kirani James. It's our time now to be on top of the podium again.
But
Antonio Watson.
You notice that I don't see that kind of body type anymore among Jamaican athletes. If you look at Bahamas, Bahamas used to produce these tall 400-meter runner type guys, and they used to always have a good form.
Yeah, Steve Gardner was a favorite, but he got injured.
Yeah, but so what's happening with Jamaica? What is happening?
I mean,
Is it
Hakeem Bloomfield is tall and has
Yeah, but
that
we're
body
not
type.
producing 4x400 runners the way we used to be.
We have a good crop, but it's just that now, because Nathan Allen has an injury, Hakeem Bloomfield has an injury, Christopher Taylor,
Yeah.
you know that
Okay, fine.
testament. So we have a Rashid McDonald running low 44.
We have the world champion now.
We have the world champion.
Do we have a team?
Yeah, man.
How are we going to do in the finals?
Silver.
You have a silver.
bronze.
Why is Italy and England and these countries beating us in relays now? King?
I mean, because relay is technical. Relay is not just all about
Exactly.
speed.
So we can be technical too.
We need to be more technical, as what I'm saying.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's how you get the button run. And if you have some good relay runners running, fair enough times, and you get the button around. Remember, you have to start, you have a drive phase, you get the button and you run.
Sure.
So,
But I miss the days when Jamaica used to have 3 or 4 credible
4x4 with the team that ran in the heats was Javon Powell, Anderson, Rashid McDonald, and Zadrian Barnes, who
So
competed
they're
in the
resting
flat
the
four.
world champion for the final.
Resting the world champion to come in. I don't know if they will give Rashawn Clark 400 meter hurdles, who is now the world junior record holder solely because he joined earlier in the season. He ran 47.34 in the semifinals, which is now the new national record, beating Winthrop, Winthrop Graham's record from back in the 90s.
Yes.
I think it's 96. And he's only 19 years old. And he came fourth, running
Yes.
48.07.
Give him a shot.
And now he's, I think, the 16th fastest athlete over the distance now. And with the likes of, I remember the names of Felix Sanchez and Bershon Jackson and
Sure.
Edwin Moses. All of these gentlemen are running those times that he ran. Hello, good afternoon. Welcome to Primal Sports.
Hi, what's going on, Primal?
What's up?
What's up, Vanessa?
What's up? So I'm gonna take the spotlight off of athletics a little bit, even though it has been truly exciting the last couple days that I've caught on to it. And I want to agree with what my dad said in his commentary. I think for the US Open, it's going to be an interesting battle to see if it's Djokovic versus Alcaraz again, because this time they'll be going to 5 sets instead of 3. We don't know how long this is going to last. That's probably going to be like a 12-hour match.
Yeah.
But ultimately, if it becomes a fitness test, I think that Alcaraz will fail. Because I think Alcaraz puts out way too much energy per point compared to Djokovic.
Yeah. Djokovic is fit.
I think so too, and that's surprising because I would expect Djokovic at his right age
Yeah.
to be the one that tires out first.
I mean, 36 is a new 26.
He's the one that's been going for the long run.
I think he's good at stalling out the matches too, Vanessa. If you notice, Djokovic takes bathroom breaks, medical breaks, all kind of breaks. That man know what he's doing.
Yeah.
He's manipulating the system.
But it should be either which way, it should be a good match, and it's going to be competitive because
Legendary. Actually, the match last week was legendary.
That's some kind of tricks that, that was a little unfair.
Vanessa, you were at the tournament. Did you see the match between Djokovic? Did you see the finals or the semis?
I did not see the final. I saw the semis.
And you had pretty
It was great.
no,
Great to see the final.
but you told me that Djokovic was looking out of form.
At the start, Djokovic wasn't looking so promising.
yeah.
And then he comes in and wins his final, and I'm like, what? This is why people say he's the GOAT, right?
Yeah.
I suppose.
Come with the hour, come with the man.
I have one question for you, Vanessa. How did your team do today? Man, you played against, was it Wolves?
They came from Tool of Down. I won 3-2.
You lie.
Yeah.
I knew they were down.
Nottingham Forest.
And to be honest, I couldn't find the channel. That's for another day. That's another rant for another day.
Yeah. But I expect Man U to be a mid-table team as usual this season again.
Come on.
About fourth or
so
fifth.
you don't think that the addition of Onana, the striking goalkeeper,
Man U will not vie for the title.
I think Onana is out of his depth. I don't think him is a big team keeper.
Man U again would try to qualify for the Champions League and finish top 4, but they won't vie for the title. Man U is like the new Tottenham, as Roy Keane said.
By the way, did you notice that Mason Green, they have pulled the plug on Mason Green completely now?
It was expected.
Vanessa?
You were saying? Sorry about that?
Yeah. I was saying, I think we need to give this goalkeeper more evaluation before we say he's out of his
Yeah.
league.
Yeah. Well, I think he's in the right setup. I mean,
Really?
a mid-table Man United team.
okay. Yeah.
So he's right there.
making up numbers.
Yeah, making up numbers. So
What are you talking?
no, Man U will not vie for the title. I mean,
I'm not convinced
Man
yet.
U is the new Tottenham.
I'm not convinced you're a contender.
I was never convinced from last year. From this coach came in, I wasn't convinced. I'm a Man U fan, and I've said it over and over. This coach tends to bring in players that he's used to, players that he knows, rather than players that fit a regime or what he's trying to bring. Casemiro was a panic buy, a last minute buy. Ericsson, I don't know why you're playing Ericsson at a deep central role when Ericsson's a number 10. So you need another central. You bought Mason Mount this year, which is typically a winger, or a number 10 again. So you still haven't fixed the gap in midfield. Casemiro is 31 going 32. You still have to fix that gap. You have Garnacho. You bought in a young striker. You can work with that.
In a nutshell, Man U days are dark. That's what he's saying.
But it's a transfer. It's just a transfer policy.
About buying Mason Mount.
I think it's a good
It's
buy.
a good buy. But
it's a
where
good
do you
buy.
play him? Who do you play him over?
Anybody out there? It's not like Man U as a world-class team.
Currently, if he has to play Mason Green, if he has to play
Even
Mason
so-
Mount, he has to play a diamond midfield.
Outside of Man City's team, right? Who in the EPL you would say, all right, I'll spend some money and to get that player. There's nobody in EPL really outside of the Man City's team.
How would I spend the money to get Harry Kane?
He's not in the league. He's not in
Germany.
No, he's in the EPL right now. There's nobody in the EPL right now to say, all right, outside of the Man City's team, that you'd say, okay, you'd go and buy. Bunch of average players, so Mason Mount is a good buy.
Whatever.
Nobody's not going to buy Salah right now. Salah is on the decline.
Carla, you have any other questions?
Very funny. Yeah, I still have one question.
Okay.
But going back to Chicago. I don't know if you guys mentioned it, but what is the reason why they never made Elaine run the final? In the relay?
I guess politics.
I believe it's pressure. I believe
Politics.
it's public pressure.
She didn't finish in the top 4 in the trials, and they chose to.
But she
Let
was
the top
she
four
was so
run the-
impressive in the heat
Yeah.
that he had to have any reasonable coach would have made her run the final.
Again,
Yeah, because that's what I thought too, right? She ran the heat literally the day before with that time, so why not put her in the final?
Yeah, we all agree that she should have run the final, but I guess
I think the issue.
the selectors saw different at the time. I don't know what's going on in the camp. We'd have to get more word on that. But looking outwards in, I think they're under some pressure of not running persons who ran the flat 100 meters and finished top 4 in the trials. So they chose to run who made the team in the flat 100, and they just went with that order. And they thought that team could have gotten the goal and is the best team fit to run. So they just chose the safe route and
I think
not put Elaine in and take somebody else
was
out. 'Cause
lazy coaching, in
It
my
would
opinion.
probably cause a rift if you
Yeah.
put Elaine over somebody who finished in the top 4.
Which is a selection issue.
So
I
it's
think
more
selection.
the selectors going with the safe route of, hey, 1, 2, 3, 4 past the post, you guys go around the relay.
They went wrong from the heats.
Yeah, so
Selecting
I guess
team
that
in the
was
heats
True.
wrong.
It time foot. Yeah. All right. Thank you, Vanessa.
All right, thanks, guys.
thanks,
All right,
thanks.
bye.
Yeah, I mean, interesting call here. Talk about tennis, talk about football, and we finish off with track and field. But we're sticking on track and field, and I brought up Rashawn Clark. I don't know if he'll be in the 4x4 setup, and that's for sure. I mean, I think Rashid McDonald ran a good first leg, but that's after Rashawn Clark, who is now the new national record holder, running a PB of 47.34 in the semifinals. He ran the finals in 48.07. It's tough to run 47.4, especially at that age, to bounce back and even further his PB. He ran a decent time of 48.07 seconds and finished 4th, outlasting the likes of the Santos and likes of other top hurdlers there in that finals. But a commendable 4th place finish with 48.0 seconds and a bright one for the future. And look out for him come next year, Paris and future World Championships. Rashawn Clark, once he stays healthy, a future star, and look for him to go sub 47 in the near future. And that's touching the realm of Mount Olympus, because that's greatness right there. Because right now, I think he's the 16th fastest over the distance all time, and just 19, turning 19 early in the year. So that was a close 4th place finish, and an also close 4th place finish was Oblique Seville, running 9.88, as I said. And 2nd place ran 9.88, 3rd place ran 9.88, but fraction of milliseconds and not getting that medal again, finishing 4th last World Championships, coming again now, finish 4th again. And I mean, the time is now, and I think next championships, which is Olympics next year, the pressure will be on him to perform, because again, we are who we are. We are Jamaicans, we are fast, we are sprinters,
I think
and
Oblique
we
needs
want
to-
medals. So
Oblique needs to learn to run through the line, and I want to see him extending his drive and
the
holding
time
his
is now.
speed a little bit. Speed maintenance.
hats off to Ryan Ford, also made the final, although he finished in 7th place in
I think that was
10.08.
well done by the Jamaican.
Well done.
Yeah.
But it looks with the likes of Akeem Blake to come again next year, and the youngsters like Kishane Thompson,
You
Rowan
didn't call the
Watson.
other Blake. Call him to the other Blake. You think him done?
Johan Blake?
Yeah. You're very quick to pronounce the end of people's careers. I've noticed. And you had said Elaine is done. So I wanted to know if you thought that Johan was done as well.
Done in the terms of
Meaning no longer the elite.
no longer that 9'6", 9'7"
Yeah,
guy.
you don't think that will ever come back.
No, I don't think so. At this age, going through his injuries, I mean, off season, pre-season.
You're willing to
bouncing back.
change your word on Elaine?
No.
You're sticking by it.
Sticking by it.
Even though she had an inspirational relay.
It's a relay leg.
No
It's
big
one.
thing.
It's one.
Everybody's
relay
making a
leg.
big fuss about
it's
it.
one relay leg.
That's it.
And then to
I
come
say-
next year again,
Yeah.
with the likes of the youngsters coming up, and even if somebody does bounce back, there's always somebody coming up, and I mean, well, she has a new coach now, so.
Yeah.
You'll be singing a redemption story.
Well, you remember I told you last week the coach said she's gonna pull it out of her. So maybe this she was able to
Somebody pull out
pull.
already.
She's able
So
to pull some out.
that relay leg is somewhat a glimmer of hope of all the Elaine fans.
yes,
I mean, I have nothing against Elaine. I
Remember
want
now,
her to get back to top form.
Shelley definitely have an expiry coming up.
Oh, yeah.
So
I think the Olympics will be
do
her
need-
last.
Yeah.
She'll go out in fine style.
We're looking for the next superstar from Jamaica.
Sherika
It's
Jackson.
certainly
is-
not going to be Brianna, you know. No, at one point it was.
So
the
you're
top.
right. So you are calling Brianna's career.
Yes, I am. Yes, I am. Yes, I am. Really a runner.
I think
Really,
we are stacked on the women's side for 100. We
Really?
have around 12 women,
Yes.
including the elite right now. We have around 12 women. We are superbly stacked.
I don't agree. I don't agree
I
that.
think so. I don't
We're
really.
stacked,
No,
man.
this is
We-
to go from junior level to senior level. You have to prove it. Don't watch the 10-9 you're running now, or you're running
But I have a
champs.
question.
You have to make the
He's
transition.
talking champs level. But
You have to
but
make
I have
the
a question
transition.
for you. If it's so stacked, women's 200 meter, Jamaica only had one finalist. You
Yeah.
know?
But this is the issue I'm having now. Is it that the coaches are more focusing on the 100 meters and not pushing persons to run the 2 and the 4?
But
No,
even so,
can that be?
but even so-
they run both races.
but
less
even
than
so,
all.
in the 100, there's only 2 persons in the 100-meter final.
True.
Sharika and Shelley. So you're saying we're stuck. We're stuck
not
with what?
stacked.
We're stuck with people knocking on the door. Remember the likes of Karen Stewart, Sharon Simpson, Shelley, Tanya Lawrence. We were stuck, and those ladies were finalists.
Eileen Bailey and
Aileen Bailey were
yeah,
finalists.
yeah.
Now we're stuck with persons knocking on the door. Don't watch your times. Don't watch your noise. We have to
First
make,
round, he's talking first
No,
round. We
no,
populate the first round.
We're
Yeah,
stuck
but I
with
know.
potential. We're not stuck with
Yeah,
kinetic.
potential. We're
No.
stuck. We're stuck. When you
We're
look at
always stuck with
when you
potential.
minus Illy and Sharika,
I
Shelley,
know you're a physics man. You know
and-
potential
and-
energy and kinetic energy.
and Brianna. When the minus those 4, which we know those are the top 4, you're still looking at a Kemba. We're looking at a Sasha Lee Forbes and Natasha Morrison. Then we have Alana Reid coming up. We have Tia Clayton coming up. We have Tina Clayton coming up.
Tell me about these Claytons
Yes.
because they went pro.
Yeah.
Tell me about these
We have-
Claytons.
You have to
Serena
you have to
Cole
make the
Have they made the transition?
No,
Have they-
yeah.
have the Claytons made the transition?
Give them time. But he's saying we're stuck with potential.
No, we're giving them time in a bridge. I'm not saying they won't make it there, but I'm saying, have they made the transition? The answer is no.
You have to give them a 2-year gap.
The
They
kid,
have a 2-year
the
wait.
Alana Reid is her name.
Yeah.
That girl have the potential.
And we have
to
Kevona Davis
cross
coming
over.
back.
You agree?
Coming back.
Yeah, remember she was out for to go college and.
But it's quite a jump. It's quite a
But I mean,
jump.
how
from-
old is Kevona Davis?
23.
How old is Antonio Watson? 21, yeah. Rowan Watson, 21. No, it's the time.
But then
See,
they're showing it now.
But I'm just saying, no, it's the time. And we have the potential. They're knocking on the door, but you're saying we're stuck. They have to make that transition. I think they will. I don't know who, but I like Serena Cole. I like the
Tina.
Claytons. To me, Brianna Liston is the one that is going to make that transition in the 200 meter. In the 100 meter, I'm still wavering on who will be out of it.
Are we
I
talking?
hope all of
Are
them.
you talking in time for Olympics or is this sometime in the future?
Well, next year Olympics, I think Brianna Liston should
That's
be.
what I'm asking you.
I think she'll be there.
So you think that
Kemba coming back.
the female sprinters come Olympics will include some of these girls we call it?
No.
So it's still the same field.
Precisely.
That's what
Yeah,
I'm asking.
yeah, that's what I'm
asking.
that's what I'm telling
my
him.
question, yeah.
Not for next
Because
year.
that's a
It's the
big
same
jump, you
field,
know.
you know.
It's a big jump.
It's 8 months, you know. It's
When I
8
look-
months.
As Connie Francis said in her interview, remember she said when she get knocked down and,
Yeah.
and her captain come to her and say, "Welcome to the big league."
Yes,
And
that's
she
big
said,
league thing.
and that was in her career, and that stuck with her throughout her whole career.
Yes.
And I'm sure she went on and had a lot of moments, but that moment stuck with her.
Yes.
And remember what she said? A big league.
Different thing.
Big league,
Different,
a big
different
league.
thing.
Just like
Yeah,
Rashid
Bush
Brad,
League, yeah.
Rashid Bradwell said, big league. And him knock on the door, because him been knocking in, and once him come through the door, I'm tell you, big league. Big league, a big league. A whole heap of people we see, look at the show Russell. Waiting. Look on Michael O'Hara. Remember Michael O'Hara?
I don't.
Champ signed Digicel.
Yes.
Yeah, remember
okay.
Michael O'Rourke
Yes.
knocking on the door, potential.
Yes.
Remember Kamara Bailey Cole?
You're still waiting.
That's what I'm
He
saying.
got a Commonwealth.
He got a Commonwealth goal.
said
But he
women-
was the heir apparent.
I know.
I said
To
the
hold
women's
the
side,
stairs.
the women's side of things is stacked up. We have a
Listen,
lot
listen.
of potential.
Where's
coming
the-
up.
where's the- all over.
I said it on Primal Facebook group the other day, that there are 100 future bolts, but only one bolt.
One bolt.
Remember, I tell that from long
There
time.
are 100 future Shelly.
Yes,
Only one Shelly.
one Shelly.
One Shelley.
One Shelly.
So,
One Shelley.
Shelly, Sharika, and Elaine is a different.
But even so, look at the
Different,
talent Sherika Jackson had from Champs days, coming up, medal in the 400, having that blunder in the 200 to the point now where she is
It will take
the
time.
second fastest woman over 200 meter, and she's I think 29.
Yeah, but
Took
it-
time, so I'm just saying
take
all
time.
that mix and coming up, it takes time. I don't want it to rush. All these juniors, I expect them. Kerika Hill to me is going to be a superb hurdler.
You know, one thing I would like
Going to be a
Jamaica.
but give it time and
It will
then
take
transition.
I'd like to know what it's going to take for Jamaica to produce a 200 meter man runner, because
We had one.
there's a huge gap.
We had Christopher Taylor, and they push him to the 4.
He's more of a 400
The
meter
question
runner.
I'm asking you
He's
now,
more of a 400 meter
if you
runner.
have-
With his
if-
build, he's more of a
if you
400.
have, that's the thing. If you have persons who have the potential can do a 2 and 4, why are you pushing them back down? Oh, do the 4, leave the 2 alone. And we have a
Nobody's doing the 2-4 double. Nobody. Look at
gap.
it.
Easy, man.
No, but if
No,
both
man,
sides.
no.
Michael Johnson.
Michael Johnson was a rarity.
No, I'm talking.
Michael Johnson was a rarity.
I'm talking even now.
It's not
Alistair
normal.
Felix.
It's not normal.
But no.
man, that's a woman.
No.
That's a different thing. That.
I'm talking about no. There's nobody on the male and female side doing the 2-4 double.
Nobody.
But why not keep him on the 2? Why push him to
Yeah,
the 4?
he's
When
not
he
the
was
two-
at
There are
200.
technical reasons why it's hard to do.
200.
You know, there are technical reasons why the 4 and 2 is hard to do.
hard.
The schedule had to be changed up for
yeah.
Michael Johnson in Atlanta.
Yeah.
Don't feel say it normal for a man run 4 and 2. Michael got
Rough.
all kind of advantages to run that 4 and 2
Yeah,
combination.
but even
because
if
of the scheduling.
But even so, to do it in a week is still rough.
But I am still
That's
wondering.
exactly
To do the
the point.
to do the 400 meter
the
alone,
400
rough.
meter is a grueling,
A grueling
race.
event.
It is the longest sprint, and the recovery period is
it's-
very long.
Which I understand. But why is it that
to even run a heat and go back and
even
run
now,
the next race.
Even
rough.
look at it now, even with the 400 runners on the male side that we have, when Christopher Taylor comes back, how will he fit in
Where? I mean, 15 minutes.
in that 400 meter?
I mean,
What do you
You
mean?
can have him running.
Let's
at
just
two.
run the time.
There's nobody in the 200 for me right now.
but he's
None,
but
none.
you-
I agree.
It's
on
about
that.
Hudson, and
So you
have-
think Chris Taylor can run even sub 20 or 19.7?
No Jamaican running
We
something.
never say him now go much more run. Actually, can do a better job than Hudson.
I mean,
About the same.
about the same.
They're about the same.
20 low, 20.0, 20.
19.9 at
20,
best.
Yeah, but
About the
if,
same.
if you condition him for 200, he will.
Really?
But
Yeah.
Kobe,
By the way-
Kobe small, man. Kobe small.
me ask
Kobe
you a
not going to
question.
cut the 2 bills.
Long,
I think Bloomfield is a better 200 meter.
respect Fred Curley. Fred Curley done? Wrong to Fred Curley.
He was on the relay team with 4x1.
No, leave him really.
He take
I
a
don't
goal
know
in
what
that.
really is. Is Fred Curley done?
One
I just had a bad
one hit
championship.
wonder.
You know, is Fred Curley done?
No, man, I'm bad championship. Fred Curley medal over 1, 2, and 4. No,
I know, but is he done?
no man,
Because
Fred
I didn't
Curley.
see
No.
Fred Curley in this. I saw him at one point in the race.
But look on Christian
championship.
Coleman. And look on even the guy,
I
Kravistan.
think Coleman can call that into his.
Call- So this show, we're right off people, this show, man. A whole heap of
Where's
people
that?
that get
This is a
right.
write-off show.
It's a write-off show. This championship shows some people are egg. Probably have to call it a day, but
Scrappy,
nah.
scrappy history.
Jacobs with a good leg.
I think Kirani James done.
Van de Kerk.
Yeah, I think Van de Kerk.
Well, let's show you just a write-off people. But that story,
I
I mean,
When the transition from champs coming up, we have potential at the 200, but when they become,
we're not,
I don't see it.
We're
I
not,
don't
we're
see
not
it. I
short
don't
on
rate
talent.
we have talent in about, I don't know why, when they
200
become-
meter talent, we have it.
Yeah, man.
Well, Brian Level,
Right
Nigel
now,
Ellis.
they did what is going to happen when they decide to progress. Why is it that after champs, after high school, they go college, we don't hear about them again? They're not running 200 again.
The running
some
is
other
just a
event.
transition. Not
Look how-
everybody can make that
look how
transition,
bad it was.
especially that quickly. As I said, it takes time. And look at Sherika now coming to the forefront, running 21:41, running 10.7s. I mean, it took her some time, and she had that talent. So some people break through later than some. Some don't break through at all. Some break through earlier. Look at you and Blake. You and break through very young, you know.
Yeah, very young.
Youngest world champion, you know.
Blake don't know.
No, but I mean, him give us a good career.
No, he had an injury.
Injury mash him up.
And that injury is a real injury. It's not,
man,
it's not
mash him up, man. But
Yeah.
and him come back and him still running him 9-9s, him 10 lows. But barring injury, Ewan Blake is the second fastest man ever. Not alive, ever.
Yes.
19.2 is no joke thing. And that 19.2, Ewan Blake run. Ewan Blake get up on the blocks and stand up.
And run.
And then run. If Ewan Blake had get him usual good starting 200, that would have been probably the world record.
Question. We saw Noah Lyons claim that he was going to break the world record, which is almost an impossibility having run the 100 meter and thing. But the question is, you think Noah Lyons will ever break Usain Bolt record?
No.
You say no.
He might forget him 100 meter speed up. He might forget him 100 meter speed up. He might fair run.
The man win the 100 meters at the World Championships.
Yeah,
Him I forget him 100 meter
How
down
much
time.
faster would he have to get?
You know what the problem now? It's a 200.
If him-
9.6, what did he do? 9.5.
19.51. But in PB at 1931.
The point is that I'm asking.
American record.
Yes, so you are saying Noah can beat Bolt's record?
I don't see that.
Not the 100 meter.
No, better at the
The
19.
I
1919.
don't see it happening.
1919, no boy time, you know.
Me no.
I don't see it happening.
If him run that time, him probably run leave him leg, you
As I
know.
can say, he must forget the 100
Noah
meter.
Lyles has been pretty consistent, you know.
No man. He will have to get the 100 meter time up. If him don't get the 100 meter time up,
Yeah, him have to improve
gonna
on him
break
bills,
it,
but
because-
it's gonna be tough. 1919 is next level.
this
Is
200, it's not a boy race, you know, as you're saying. It's not a boy thing. Lyles has an endurance. He can hold a speed, a peak speed for a long time. But at what stage does he reach that peak?
I think he can get close to it. I don't think.
He'll
I
get
think
closer
I
now.
think he will get closer than he has so far because
He will
all
get
I'm
close.
seeing in
I
this
think
guy,
he will go-
all I'm
he
seeing in
will
this
go
dude,
He will go Blake level. And that's it.
all I'm seeing is improvement from Noah Lyles. Constant improvement. And now that he's become the
He
big
get
man.
close, but I don't
And by the
think
way, we're having a debate over whether he is now the big man. And I think Noah Lyles is the big man in athletics now.
He's a big man, yeah.
He's the big man.
He's a big man.
He's
One,
the
two,
giant.
one, and really-
He's the king of athletics.
He's not getting that 200 record.
But even we touch on the 200
Remember, it's
meter
not you
record,
giving him, you know. It's him taking it.
200 meter for male.
Yes.
We just spoke about record. 200 meter for female.
That's
I think Sherika Jackson can break it this season.
She came close.
21,
She's close.
41.
She's what, 700th of a second off?
Yeah, and
That's
I mean,
close.
after running rounds of the 100 meter rounds,
That's
of the 200
close enough. Give her a one-off race in Colorado or Mexico City.
Yeah, man.
Give her a
that
one-off
record,
race.
And she never get a good breeze yet. Well,
Yeah,
where
yeah,
she
yeah.
can get a little
Hey,
breeze.
hey, Shakari chooses breezes, you know.
Yeah,
You,
man.
you know
Yeah.
that? Shakari, I've seen them turn the track around to give Shakari a little breeze.
Yeah.
Right?
Because the win,
Americans, them do
the
it,
win
you know.
in the
Yeah.
100 meter, the 200 meter was 0.1. What if we get a 1 meter?
Just like a breeze.
Just a little breeze.
Yeah.
Pan a day where she well rested, and
Yeah.
I think she will break the
On a
record.
one-off race.
I think she will break the record. I don't think Noah Lyles will break the record.
She wanted that 200 record this championship.
But wow, as you just said, time flies
Oh my
fast.
God.
And next week again, we break down the World Championships in more in depth because I mean we don't even touch on Tajay Gale, big him up. Adele Tracy running a PB in the 800 meter. I mean, Dad coming fifth in the shot
Great
put.
performance by the Jamaica
I mean,
team overall, man.
And at 400 meter hers females, we had 3 finalists in the 400 meter female
Yes,
medalists.
yes.
We got a bronze medal, Rochelle Clayton, running a PB, now the second fastest Jamaican ever. over
Well,
the
if
event.
Sydney was there, we wouldn't have gotten that medal, you know, because Sydney was a sure.
Yeah, but I mean, hey, who run another day? we
Some
run
luck,
another day.
some luck was
But-
involved.
I'm just saying.
Yes.
So next week again, we'll break it down further. We'd have the final medal tally. We have the 4x4s tomorrow. So, I mean, more track and field going on. Next week, we touch more into football, but track and field take up the whole of the show. And maybe next week's show again. But again, want to thank Connie Francis for taking the time out to come on a great interview, breaking down her career from start to where it is now. And wish her all the best in her future endeavors. And great coach, great athlete, great person. I mean, I've been around her at some Commonwealth Games, and netball girls are elite in
man.
my book all the time.
Always with the vibes.
Yeah, man, always with the vibes, professionalism, never in a mix-up, and the unity and camaraderie that they show is just exemplary. And as big up Connie Francis again. I mean, I want to big up the listeners on Fit FM 96.7 And you don't know if I big up Anthony Watson down there coming from Duncan Strelani. Big up all the listeners on Primal 4K app, Facebook, YouTube. I mean, one love from the Primal Sports Decks. We see you next week, same time, same place. And I mean, just go and cheer on all the athletes there in Budapest. And next week we'll break it down further for you. So thanks again. One love, peace, and respect to all the listeners out there.
Peace.